Welcome everyone to the next episode of the Expert Talk. I'm Suzette, as you know, your host of this show, and today I am traveling to near Boston, Massachusetts. Oh, and now my camera is gone, which is not the best thing at the start, but who cares? I'm going to fix it right away. And now I am back at Boston together with Joe Delfino. Hey, Joe.
How you doing, Suzette? Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's nice having you today in the podcast. And, as I said at the beginning, I'm going to start with a very short summary of your huge expertise, right? Because you know so much and you were working with so many important and huge companies. I have to name it, and I'm going to summarize it now. So if I'm right, Joe, you have over 25 years of experience in business development, sales, and marketing, and this within the photonics industry. So this is a very special industry. I'm also related to it, a bit from the past, and I very appreciate talking to you about this industry especially. So more about you. You have degrees in electrical engineering and mathematics, which is very impressive. And I'm a physicist, but you are a mathematician, so this is very special. And then also you began your career in machine vision, and then you transitioned into leadership roles at global companies. And now we have the big names: Edmund Optics, Qioptiq, and Excelitas. I hope I pronounced it correctly, but it should be the case.
That's all correct. Yes, it is.
And today you are the CEO of a photonics-focused startup. Now we are in business, and also an equity holder in another one. So very interesting. So you focus in future startups and technologies. So very interesting. Moreover, you are bridging the technical innovation and the commercial success. This means you know how to make money with technology, Joe, right?
Yes. My clients would like that, yes.
And you're also driving startup growth and investor engagement. Just in a nutshell, I completely agree with all of what you are missioning. It's very impressive, especially for us, because we like to connect such great people, experts, also as coaches like you, with young people or startups, or also SMEs, who just are looking for a very experienced person like you are once. To close it, I was trying to find a quote, and I guess you said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And now we are here, Joe. I hope I explained everything correctly. What do you say?
No, that was perfect introductions. Thanks, Suzette. Yeah, that's I arrived in the photonics industry at a very opportune time. Everything over the last 25 years involves optics, photonics, in some regards. We've really, if you don't have to do much of imagine, you don't have much of an imagination to just look around society and the world today and see how photonics has impacted pretty much every aspect of our lives, from medical, from biotech to industrial. Both commercial and defense economies have benefited from the photonics industry. And I've been extremely fortunate during that journey to work with some really intelligent people, far more intelligent than I am, that have had ideas that take 5, 10 years to develop. And those technologies are helping, all over the world. So it's been a wonderful, journey over the last 25, 30 years in photonics.
Joe, do you remember which was your first role in photonics? So was it in sales? Was it in marketing? Where was it?
Yeah, it was in sales. I was given the opportunity by Edmund Optics. The CEO at the time was John Stack, and he had a vision to move beyond the catalog and actually become more of a manufacturer in photonics. And for that role, I was the first outside salesperson to come on board for Edmund, and that was just my entry into the entire world of photonics, and just to how the breadth, the depth, and the global reach how important photonics was, all stages, whether you're just starting out at the university and you're putting a benchtop system together, or you're working on the next gen medical product or an endoscopy product or a lab device. It requires imaging. It requires taking data and moving data from an imaging perspective to a decision. And those are the type of things that we worked on. And it was, being that it was a catalog company, it gave me the experience of working with just a diverse range of applications and requirements, and understanding how important, optics and photonics are to, the global economy.
Thank you so much. And Joe, I was just thinking about, you said so many technologies are coming from photonics, right? From this specific industry. Of course, people are needed, right? Especially young people are needed. And you also saw, I guess, many startups rising, right? So within the last 25 years.
Oh,
So
yes.
what is your feeling about, funding a company in the photonics industry, or being an investor, in some photonics startup? So what do you think about? Maybe we can start with the first question.
Yeah, that's a huge question. It's a good one. I would say that the photonics industry benefits from a lot of public-private collaboration. There are many universities that have startups involved at the graduate student level, and those companies look, or those universities look for collaboration with industry leaders. And a lot of corporations understand that it's a long development cycle. And so there is a great partnership between, universities, optical companies, photonics companies, and the industry overall. SPIE and Optica, the industries, they're constantly promoting these type of values to bring the ecosystem closer together. And as you said in the first statement, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I think collaboration is highly underrated. I think we can do a lot more together than we could separately. So when it comes to the startup community, there are a lot of startups in photonics. That's because there are a lot of great ideas and a lot of great minds that are trying to solve some very difficult problems, and they don't happen overnight. They take years, sometimes decades, to bring groundbreaking technologies to market, such as robotic surgery. These devices have been in develop for, decades. And, we have some great companies that have been developed over the last 20 years. Their technology has come leaps and bounds. And a lot of it would not be possible without imaging. So I believe collaboration is extremely important. I believe the ecosystem is rich, but with public and private collaboration.
Wow, thank you so much. And through the eyes of an investor, you think this is a very interesting field, photonics industry, or would you also invest? I mean, this is not, I'm not asking for you an investment tip, right? I just ask, how investors, think in this specific industry, yeah, because you are one.
Yeah, I think investors with the right time frame, and the right risk profile and the understanding of the market, I think that, photonics is extremely complex. There is, it should not be underestimated that most of the photonic startups are trying to tackle very big problems. And they require a lot of patience. They require, there's no optics companies that I can think of that, turn themselves around, or turn, from an idea to a product in 6 months. It's definitely, you need to have a longer time frame in mind when you're investing in the industry. And also, I would say that, understand the scale of what's possible. When it comes to manufacturing photonics technologies, it takes a while to make the right investments and get up to scale. So I think the investor community, no doubt, has had an interest in the photonics industry for years, and it's only growing.
Thank you so much, Joe. Very precise answer. And you're absolutely right. I mean, this scaling in manufacturing levels, they are like huge. Yeah. So, I mean, especially manufacturing, it takes ages.
There's a high barrier to entry, in manufacturing optics. Although optics have been, been manufactured since the Egyptian days, it is still a laborious process. There are machines that are being developed to probably lessen the labor, but still you need humans involved. You don't remove human beings from the process of manufacturing high precision optics and photonic systems.
Interesting statement. Okay, we just keep it as it is, Joe. My next question, because the podcast is about you, right? So, and I would like to, I would like to understand, how could you help now startups, SMEs, or maybe also, like young people who would like to step into the photonics industry? So if I would be someone and I would like to contact you, how should I do it, and how do you help me?
I would say that the most important thing throughout my 25, 30 years is building meaningful connections. I think that in the photonics industry, we need to talk a lot. We need to have a lot of conversation. This has become somewhat easier in the age of social media, but it's also become a little bit more difficult. We had a big reset during the pandemic. Our lives were interrupted. Instead of gathering together at coffee shops and trade shows and companies, we were all segmented in our little and isolated. This broke our communication to some degree. And we're slowly getting that back, but it's not coming back the same way. And nothing will come back. It's been a huge reset. So I think learning how to get people engaged, learning how to communicate, and I would say, falling back on the three fundamentals of, always things seem to happen in threes, but in a more enlightened path, you want to know your aversions, what you avoid, you want to know what you're attached to, and you want to accrue knowledge. And you want to accrue that knowledge so that you can think, speak, and act skillfully. So this is really where I think we need to, help that next generation along in taking a look and getting involved, getting engaged. It's not about sitting in front of, the cell phone or the computer or just watching other people do things. It's actively getting out and doing it. I have been on thousands of sales calls. I've been to probably hundreds of trade shows, and that's how we met recently. And so much is possible when we engage ourselves with others directly and in person. There's no substitute for it. There never will be. So I would really encourage everybody to get back out, get to trade shows, go to visit companies, go see your clients, especially in the climate that we have right now in 2025. Everybody is really struggling with the state of the administration, not to get political, but the state of the administration in the U.S., which is causing a lot of stress and global stress. And I think we need to check in on each other, and we need to check in on the companies that who are our clients, but not only our clients, but everybody else around us, both from a business and a personal perspective. Um, so the way I would engage, with clients and just anybody, even if you just, rang me up and asked, I'm happy to have conversations. But the way I engage is, with business leaders and all throughout the organization to identify where the struggles are, what the path looks like, and create a path, removing any bias that's in the system, removing any personal biases, and trying to chart a course that's within the strategic direction of the company. Align the goals, and then no other better way to do it but just jump in the trench and start working. And that's what I've and
Thank
that's
you.
how I do it.
Thank you so much, Joe. So this is this is very empathic and sympathetic. So I like it very much. Thank you so much. And this is right now also the ending of our episode of today, because Joe, we talked a lot. We crossed so many topics. I was, afraid to jump into one of those deeper, because then the time just flies, faster. But this was a very, very intense and fruitful conversation. I'm very thankful. And people out there, if you would like to work together with Joe Delfino, or if you would like to get with him on a call or whatever, just contact us. We are very happy to make the collaboration possible. And with these words, I wish everyone a wonderful evening. Joe, for you the same. Heads up in Boston. And we talk soon.
Thanks, Suvette. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.